Hey guys, welcome back. We want to talk to you guys about Airbnb when compared to hotels, especially now with COVID going on. Which ones should you go with, especially now that Airbnb prices have been elevated due to the cleaning costs on account of COVID?
We used to see an average of like $40 cleaning fees here and there, sometimes even 20, and sometimes none at all. Now what we're coming across is like $100 cleaning fee, maybe even $150 depending on where you're looking.
Yeah, we're looking at cleaning fees that are pretty much minimum $100, and like you said, they can get up pretty up there. So what they're doing is basically making it more tempting to go after a hotel that's a little on the comparable side, or maybe even a little cheaper. And sometimes the problem is that these hotels were come across as upgrades to the Airbnbs. And what we're here to talk to you guys about is that, really they aren't. Unfortunately, we've had some back-to-back bad experiences with quote-unquote budget hotels. And that's what we're here to warn you about. For those of you who are familiar with Airbnb already, I think you'll see the rise in costs. And maybe some of you guys have turned to hotels. We'd love to hear your stories, but here are some of our more recent experiences.
So the first one was a loft in New York. So this was in Brooklyn, which on the photos, it looked awesome. Like, we read some of the reviews are great, and I was like, okay, we're pumped. It was not on the pricey side. It was actually cheaper than most Airbnbs in Brooklyn. So we're like, let's do it.
Yeah, and we really enjoy boutique hotels. We've stayed in some amazing ones, and a loft pretty much market as having the vibe. It is a chain. There are more than one around the world, but still, the style, the aesthetic, typically when you see in a loft, that's kind of the boutique style, and they've got good tech accommodations and, just generally nice decor.
Yes. We did forgive it for not having the restaurant open, not having the amenities open, like the pool and such. It's COVID. We totally understood, but we had some issues outside of just the amenities, such as a dirty room, small dirty room.
Yeah, and this particular hotel, the location wasn't really guest friendly. Mm-hmm. First off, they did have 3 elevators. However, one of them is dedicated to a sky top restaurant lounge, starting at about midday.
Yeah.
So, what we're running into, we're, having to wait for elevators, and then, there's a crowd forming at the entrance. So you're coming in and out, and you're being received by, like a party crowd. This won't be an issue for a lot of people, but, for us, especially since we're traveling with pets, it was. Mm-hmm. Because the more commotion that's going on, the more riled up they get, and of course is the wait for the elevator when you just, you're on vacation. There shouldn't be more stress, there should be less stress.
Right.
So that was number one.
And on top of it, we paid just as much for our pets as we did for our stay. So we just, it was just an inconvenience for us. As much as we paid for them, to have people standing at the door, make them all crazy, and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, for sure, if you're not traveling with pets, it just makes things a lot more easy. But that is something to factor in. It makes that even more of an issue, especially if you're going with a budget place that isn't really equipped to accommodate pets, and because they're barely even equipped to accommodate you. Our second experience was more recently. It was another New York trip, and that was
Fairfield Inn in Suites in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan.
I believe it was Hell's Kitchen. Yeah. The cost was really attractive to us. It was really close to Times Square. It was within walking distance of a lot of amazing things. But the problem was, again, a crowd formed outside, even though the rooftop was closed. It was not a guest-friendly atmosphere once you stepped out of that hotel. It was definitely sketch, a lot of stuff going on. And, of course, depending on what neighborhood you're staying at with an Airbnb, that could be an issue as well. But this is compounded by the fact that it's a hotel and they didn't have staff outside, moving people along. That's typically what happens. You can't really loiter out the front of, a hotel. It just doesn't.
This is a hotel where we would have been paying more for if COVID didn't exist, and Airbnb would have been cheaper. So,
Right.
you know, for something that you would have thought you'd be paying more for, you would have thought it would have been a little more tourist friendly,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
you could say, right?
Yeah. Now, although the staff was friendly, the room did have an odor to it, but we didn't tell them upon check-in. So we don't know how they would have dealt with that, if they would have moved us to another room, if they had one available, how that would have went. But all that is to say, you know, it's just, you don't know how well those rooms are being cleaned in those
Right.
hotels. Whereas if you're paying a high fee on Airbnb for cleaning, you know, it doesn't mean that 100% that fee is going to a cleaning service that's professional, but at least you have grounds to complain if you show up there and
Right.
the place is dirty, you know. You have a case with Airbnb to get that cleaning fee back or be moved to a accommodation that's of equal or lesser value, that's up to standard.
Right.
You know, like we mentioned in our early Airbnb video, Airbnb customer service is really great, and they really cater to the traveler.
Right. Most of the time, at least.
Yeah, yeah.
So like this is like just coming from us being a little upset at the fact that we were already upset that we were kind of missing out on the Airbnb experience because we didn't want to pay the cleaning fee, and that's our bad. So we moved to like, okay, let's do a nice hotel. Joke's on us because the hotels weren't that nice, for a little cheaper. So I guess we kind of
Right.
recommend going with an Airbnb for just a little bit more money.
Yeah.
So this way you have a better experience, better value for your money.
Or if you feel, hey, the Airbnb experience is just as much as, you know, a higher end hotel experience, go with that.
Right.
That's what we've done. We've got a Washington trip coming up, and here's the hotel we booked for that, which is a price point that's higher than we would have normally been comfortable with prior to coming to this revelation. So that's the general takeaway, guys. We're in a strange time now. Budget isn't the same that it used to be before COVID. We have to, you know, understand that there are precautions that need to be taken, and they cost. This cost is being passed on to us as a consumer. You know, whether it's, you know, even though flights were a little cheaper, actually a lot cheaper at the outset because no one was flying. Now that people are becoming comfortable flying again, you'll see, you know, some exorbitant fees. We checked London flights just, you know, because we've been missing it and nostalgic, and they're open. They have no restrictions. $900 round
Yeah.
trip. $900.
That's the cheapest.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this is a place you could have got to for about $200 round trip, you know, to do a quick weekend from the getaway from the East Coast. That's not possible right now. So look at it this way: if you want to go to the cheap route, you got to lower your expectations. If you want to stick with Airbnb, we recommend it. We do, paying the cleaning fees. And if you don't want to go that route, maybe look at some of those higher end hotels, you know.
Which we also recommend. We do love our higher end hotels.
Absolutely. You know, when you're not on a budget, you
Right.
know, it's just budget travel right now. It's going to be tough, guys. You've got to raise those expectations a little bit about what those costs are going to be. Of
Yeah.
course, keep tuning into this channel. Whenever we have resources that we can share with you guys on how to get back to that real good steal of a Airbnb or a trip, flight, we'll let you know. So
Sure.
keep tuning in. But for now, hunker down and just accept the fact that, you know, you're gonna have to shell out just a little bit more money to have a pleasurable experience while you're traveling without any hassles.
We'd also be very, very happy to give you a review of the next hotel we stay in, which is in Washington at the end of the month. So if that's something you're interested in, just let us know in the comments below.
Yeah. I think that does it for now, guys. By the way, the background behind us is the beautiful Gloucester. If you're ever out here, give us a shout. We'd love to give you some tips about the North Shore in this area.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks again. We'll be talking to you guys again soon.
Ciao.
Bye.